Hello my convicts and convict catchers, it is I, the Cap Convict, bringing you guys and gals another video. So today is a requested video. Someone asked for me to show my OBS settings. Sorry it took a little bit long, but it's been such a busy week and I wanted to kind of redo it again. I've done it a few times, so hopefully third time is the charm. So without further ado, let's get straight to it and let me show you my OBS settings. So first of all, you kind of want to sign in, so make sure you go to the settings. It may prompt already. If not, go to settings stream and sign in. It'll make this a little bit easier when obviously doing the rest of the settings here, because I think the auto setup will actually do part of the setup. So make sure you signed in first is the first thing you want to do, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Okay? Then we'll come back to the settings in just a moment. Once you've done that and you've got the screen, you'll see, obviously I've got my YouTube chat here because I do broadcast on YouTube every Monday to Friday, 10:30 till 2:30. Please come along if you can. If you can't, please watch the video and drop a like. I really would appreciate it. So there's a couple of things you can see here. I don't know if you'll have this. If you don't, all you need to do is go to view. You want to go to stats. You want to click on stats, and that will create this box here. If you find out there's nothing here you can click or move, or you can't drag something around, if you go back to view, you have got one where you can, is it docs? No, it's docs actually. Go into docs and you can see where it says lock docs. If you click that, you'll see these little icons up here. That means you can actually drag them out of place like so, and then you can actually put them in place and you can actually choose where you want to put them. Just be careful because it is a bit of a pain. When you take it out, it sometimes just does not want to budge. It will do it eventually, but it's a bit of a pain. Once you've got it into the place you want it to, go back to docs, lock docs, and now you can no longer pull it out of its position. It will always stay there. Now this is really important. The stats page basically helps you out with knowing what your CPU, what your GPU is doing, basically everything about your computer while you're actually streaming or recording. It will actually show up here and you'll actually know what's happening. As you can see, I'm doing recording here and it's telling me in the megabits per second and the bit rate as well. Okay. When you are live streaming, obviously this will be a little bit different. You will get how many frames you might drop during a live stream. You may get fluctuations in your FPS, which will show as well. If you're dropping below 60, your average time to render a frame, which obviously I'm putting no strain on the computer, so it's doing it at 0.5 milliseconds. When you're streaming, it may put a slight more emphasis on that. You might be getting 1 point something milliseconds. It'll tell you if you're having any rendering issues, if you're having any encoding issues, and obviously these are due to the CPU GPU limitations, and approximately if there's any issues with like disk and stuff and things like that. So always kind of have a look at all of these because they will be really important when you're doing recordings, streaming, and testing as well. So you want to go here to tools, you want to click on the auto configuration wizard. It will then give you a prompt. If you're already signed in, which you should be, that's good. Then you won't have to mess about signing in to do that part. But once you clicked on the auto config wizard, it'll give you a pop-up and it'll say, are you going to be streaming and recording first, or are you just going to be recording? What I would do is I would actually separate the two. I would actually set up, if you are considering streaming, then you can do the first bit. If you're not, you might want to skip ahead a little bit. I will put the timestamp below to skip to just the recording part if you're not going to be doing that. If you are going to be streaming, I recommend you click on the streaming and then recording, because what it'll actually do is it will look at your system, it'll look at all your hardware and everything, and it'll also actually run a speed test on your internet connection, which you'll see a pop up and it'll go like a grey staticky box, and it'll basically test your connection and it'll tell you what it feels would be the best bit rate for you to stream on, and so on and so forth. Now, recording bit rate is completely different to your streaming bitrate, so you do need to make sure that you do separate the two, and I'll show you what I mean by that with some information in just a moment. So once you've done that, you've run the test, it's given you the idea of what it is. You want to save settings. Once you've saved settings, then what you need to do is print screen or take a photo of what it says, the information it's given you, and just make sure you go through and just double check everything it's done. Because when you go to settings, if you do accidentally click out of that, you can go to settings and go to output. It will say simple here, but it will also give you some information to what it is. So you want to be looking at that information. Make sure you copy it, take a photo by the phone, print screen, whatever you need to do to save that information. Then once you've done that, you want to actually change it from output mode to advanced mode. Okay, so you want to change it, otherwise what it will do, it will keep this as simple, and anything you're recording, if you're doing like a recording like I'm doing now, it will actually do it at the same bit rate as what you would normally do for your streaming. Now, I don't want to do that, because if I'm recording a video, I don't need an upload speed to determine how good the image quality needs to be while I'm streaming at the same time, while I'm using upload speed, because recording is completely different to streaming. So that's why I said, if you're going to be streaming, you want to be doing that bit, and obviously making sure that obviously you configure around the bitrate you have. As you can see, mine's at 3500, and I have it at 1280 by 720. And I'm also using the NVIDIA NVENC encoder as well, because I'm using an NVIDIA card. I always recommend, if you have got an NVIDIA card, make sure you use NVENC, because it's using a separate part of the GPU that is being designed for streaming. So it's something separate that won't impact too much on your GPU as what it would do on a CPU, especially if you're on a low-end CPU. I am currently now on a 5950X, and it's absolutely beastly, 16 core. It's a very, very good CPU. I'm also on the 3060 Ti, which is my graphics card, and I have got a 64 RAM in the system. So I've got plenty of room, M.2, 500 gigabyte, and then I've got a couple of 500 gigabyte SSDs, which is from the old PlayStations I used to have. So I'm utilizing the old PlayStation hard drives from the PlayStation 4. And then I've also got a very old 1 terabyte Seagate hard drive, the old mechanical hard drive, but that's just for pictures and just to throw random crap into if I need to. So that's what's in the system. So knowing that, and my upload speed, the maximum unfortunately I can get for upload speed is around about 5.6 upload. I can't get any higher. That's the highest I can get where I live. Unfortunately, the internet is rubbish, and we get about 31 to 34-ish kind of download speed, but the maximum I can get for upload is between 5 and 6. I'm on an old DSL kind of connection. So yeah, it is what it is. I have to do what I can with what I've got. Maybe in the future, if you like this video, maybe subscribe, or even join for that fact for just $1.99. Then maybe one day I'll actually have better internet. But who knows? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Anyway, so going back to the settings here. So once you've got them copied down, you know exactly what your upload speed is and everything. That's what you want to be putting here if you're streaming. So once you change to advanced, it will reset all your settings. So if you've got enough speed to do in 1080p, then you can do that. Now, the best way to do this is to probably come up here, and if you go to YouTube, put YouTube and bitrate. I'll put this in the description so you don't have to. So if you put YouTube bitrate and go here, again, I'll put this in the description so you don't have to, then click on bitrate. If you come down here, it'll actually tell you recommended video bitrates for the SDR uploads. So you can actually see what the best bitrates are, and you can check them out. So as you can see here, 8K, what that is, and it's telling you for the different ones as well. So this is 24, 25, and 30 FPS. This is 48, 50, and 60 FPS. And these are all the different, obviously, megabits per second you need in order to be able to run a good stream. So you want to look at either one of these and then choose based on that. So whatever your upload speed came out at, you can then decide from this list, what is my best? And am I doing it in HDR, or am I just doing it in standard? And also it does it for the audio bitrate as well. But just note down below the audio bitrate, YouTube says the max it supports is 160. So you don't want to go any higher than 160. This can also be affected by your upload speed. So just be aware, if you're using this, you may need to keep an eye out on YouTube just to make sure that your YouTube is handling the bitrate for that and it's actually broadcasting the correct bitrate. Otherwise, you might get some weird audio issues when you're live streaming. If you want to know about that, let me know and I'll add on an extra video in regards to that. But it's just basically going to YouTube, going to your YouTube live. Excuse my voice. And then you can go on there and you can actually find out what the YouTube is saying. If it's saying streaming is great, if it's streaming is good, if you've got any issues like that, then you might need to lower your resolution or your bitrate a little bit to accommodate for that. So obviously choose to whatever's best for you. Again, I'll link that in the description below. So coming back to this, I've chose mine. I've got around about 5, so I bring it to around about 3500, purely because I want to put some headway in, because upload speeds will fluctuate up and down a little bit, and I don't want to just put a solid 5 and then have issues with either the game or with the stream. So you have to kind of balance it and find out where your best even is. So it's going to be a lot of play testing on your front. Keyframe interval, I leave this as 0. Some people use 2. I leave it as 0 because it's auto. So completely up to you. You pick your poison. These are quite new, and I've not really worked with these as of yet a great deal. But what I would recommend, especially if you're doing recordings, is obviously choosing the highest, and then obviously going from there. If you're streaming, then again it's varying. As you can see, I've put slower for better quality. I've put slower for better quality. Now, obviously, the higher you go, the worse the quality. The lower you go, the better the quality. I've put down low latency so that my video and what I'm streaming will be closer to when people post stuff, and I have something called speech chat, so people, when they talk, I can hear it, sort of thing, and it plays in chat as well. Multipass mode, resolution. Now, I'm assuming this is a little bit like the when you've basically got half resolution, you've got full resolution, you don't get the full colors, possibly, or something of that. Or it's using quarter the resolution, maybe less pixels. So you've got the full pixels, or quarter the pixels, or half or less the pixels, which will help a little bit if you're streaming, and obviously if you're maintaining like a very low upload speed like myself. I'm assuming it's kind of around that. I've been playtesting with it a little bit, so I can only go based on a couple of days of playtesting, so I may need more time on that. But try different ones, see how it goes for you. If you have any problems, maybe lower it a little bit, see how it does. Profile, you want to keep that as high, so this will be above all of the processors on your PC, so it gives obviously OBS enough to do your recordings or to keep up with your streams and not have any buffering or problems. Now, these two have different things for them. I've playtested with a little bit. The one I find the most beneficial is the psychovisual tuning. This will basically, as it reads here, enables the encoder settings that optimize the use of bitrate for increased perceived visual quality, especially in situations where you're at high motion, but it will increase GPU utilization. So just be aware, obviously, we'll use a little bit more GPU, but it will help when you're in fast motion situations and you're jumping around corners or you're sprinting and diving and stuff. It will give you hopefully a much more stable look rather than a blurred or blocky look as you're running around at high speeds. GPU, you don't need to touch this, leave this as 0. This one you want to put at 2. This means I believe it's processing 2 frames per time at a time in order to obviously keep up with, obviously, again, streaming and streaming a bit rate over a period of time in order to keep the frames as ahead as possible. Kind of like, I think, like a YouTube video where you've got a bit where you can see the little bar filling up at the bottom, and it goes really slow, and then you stop and you start to buffer. You want obviously that to be always ahead, so you've got like a nice smooth transition during the stream. So that's what I'm referring it to as, and that's what I would recommend. Audio, this you want to sample rate to be whatever it is. So if it's 48 kilohertz, you want to make sure everything else, your game audio, your headset audio, everything like that is also at 48 kilohertz. Channel obviously would always prefer to be in stereo, so you get it from both speakers, especially if people are playing on phones. On this one, I normally use these as disabled and only keep my chat mic open. Now, I'll show you an application. Again, I'll put this in the description also of a application you can use, which you'll see down at the bottom here, which has got like a weird box and it's got like a speaker in it. It's something that was in beta, but it's an audio application, and you can actually choose various audio applications and give them their own separate audio sliders so that they're not joined into one, so you're not getting maybe your chat and game audio and mic all in one stream. You can actually separate them, so if you feel like your teammates are being too loud, you can turn them down and it's not going to affect your mic and it's not going to affect your gameplay sound as well. Now I have this on here as chat mic. You can see my Go XLR Mini, which is very new and it's been really good, and TC stands for team chat. It's really good. This also separates. I highly recommend, if you want to have something to separate audio that's straight out of the box, the Go XLR Mini is being a godsend, and it improves audio much more tenfold. I definitely highly recommend, if you can afford a Go XLR Mini or any sort of similar to the Go XLR Mini, I highly recommend it. It really does make a huge difference to audio. Decay rate and all that, I leave all these as default. All these default on here. I don't really do anything with these. Video, you want to set this to the resolution now. Again, based on these information here, you want to go based on obviously your speeds. So for me, like I said, I get about 5-6 upload. So I keep mine to 720.5, and you can see 7.5 there if I'm doing it at 60. But I do go on the lower end of this. This is why obviously my videos are a little bit not as good as what they could be. However, I do recommend obviously watching mine, due to my upload speed, that you watch it in a mobile device, because mobile devices, I've had no problems, no issues of quality with watching any of my videos on my mobile phone. So watch me if I'm streaming on mobiles and tablets, and you'll see that the quality is absolutely perfect and there's no issues. However, if you're watching on a huge 30-inch screen TV like this one behind me, then obviously it's going to be a problem. You're going to get kind of like blocky kind of image. So yes, make sure if you're watching my content or watching my live streams, watch on mobile or on a tablet is your best choice, as that's the best I can possibly do. I apologize. However, if you can achieve more, then obviously you want to keep it to the rate on here. Now, the reason why I'm coming back to this is because you want to make sure that this is set to whatever it is. So when I'm streaming, I actually change these values from 1920 to 1080 to 720p. Okay, I change both of them. Don't go into it where you go to the output and it says rescale, because this is putting more unwanted usage on your CPU and GPU, because it's having to not only encode it into 1080 but then downscale it to 720. You don't want to do that. You want to physically just change here, and you will have to go, unfortunately, through all your different sources, and you'll have to, if you've got such as like a starting soon or anything like that, you have to change them and put them down into 720p so that everything runs at the same. Otherwise, you're going to be putting unwanted pressure on CPU and GPU to have to re-render everything from one to another, and you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to have to downscale or upscale. You want to just obviously have it set to whatever your stream output is, especially if you're limited like me with just 5-6 upload speed. So once you've done that, then obviously you can go on to recording. For recording, this one is a little bit different, because this one doesn't require an upload speed. So let me go through this one and explain it to you. So nothing on here I really touch. The only thing I did change is I have my format into MP4. If you are, however, looking into splitting audio tracks and having like a track for audio, a track for gameplay, a track for mic, like chat, game, mic, then obviously you want to take these for however many sources you're wanting to separate. And then what that will do is any mic will go into track 1, any gameplay will go track 2, and maybe if you've got TeamSpeak, that'll go into track 3. Then you can lower and raise those during the editing process when you put this into an editor. If you put it into MP4, all tracks will be set into one. You can't unset them. They are stuck as they are. So you want to use MKV as the best one, as it's suggesting here, if you're looking to remix, because MP4s, you can't. You simply just can't do that. So come down here, you want to definitely use capture bitrate because it's the best one to use. Now, due to obviously looking at this again, I did go through this again and go, okay, because I was using around 60,000 because someone had done it as a recommendation, but it was taking hours and hours and hours to upload a video. However, when you look on here and you're looking at the standard definition upload speeds, it says here to actually do it in 1080p, I should do it at 12 megabits per second. Now, one thing I do recommend, obviously, if you're doing this, is to look at it, as it says here, megabits per second. But if you go to your thing, it will say in kilobits per second. So as you can see, I put 15,000. The reason why I put 15,000 is because here on HDR1, it says 50 megabits per second, and 1 megabit is 1,000, okay? Kilobits. So 1 megabit per second is 1,000 kilobits per second. So make sure you add 15,000 if you're doing it in 1080 at 60 and you're doing a recording. Again, keyframe intervals is 0. However, this time I've put everything onto best quality, onto high quality, and onto full resolution. I've also put profile again as high. Again, you want this to have priority over any other program. I put that onto full resolution because obviously I want to have the recordings to have the best recording image quality and everything as possible. And it's not going based on upload speed. I'm not having to upload at a streamed rate in order to record. You're just recording. You're not uploading. So change these to the max you can, or to the max your system will physically support. Again, I put this up because I do play a lot of FPS games, and max B frames again at 2. That's generally what I use. I recommend obviously you going through these and trying them out, seeing what you can do and see how it works for you. Depending if you're on a lower end system or not, then will depend obviously if you need to load these down a little bit to obviously keep up with that. But the one thing you don't want to change is your bitrate. You want to try and keep your bitrate at the max quality you want to do it at. And then obviously, just like I said, go by this guide. And if you're wanting to do such as like HDR 4K, then you need to be putting this to 300, between 150 to 300 megabits per second. Or if you're doing it on here, then 120 to 240, or depending obviously what kind of bit rates you're looking at trying to push out there. My monitors support 1080 and stuff, and I'm not looking to do 8K, 4K, or 2K purely because my internet connection would take forever, and I mean forever, to upload that kind of bit rate, and it's just kind of pointless for me, to be honest. It'd be just easier just to leave it as is. So that's my recording audio. Now, YouTube only allows you to do a maximum of 160. I recommend doing 160 if you can. Mine's kind of weird. Mine fluctuates a little bit. Goes from 160 and then says 128. Again, it could be because of upload speed. So I thought, bugger it, I'm just going to leave it at 128 no matter what it says. And that's what I do. But the max, it says here for streaming on YouTube, is 160. Again, come here to stream if you're on Twitch. It will tell you what your maximum video bit rate is, what your maximum audio bit rate is. Don't exceed them. It's pointless because you're just wasting resources on something that won't make any difference. It's not going to give you that edge in audio or anything. It's just going to still keep it at 160. So if I want to 362 kilobits per second, it's still going to send it out at 160. And then I'm just going to get a notification maybe from YouTube, from when you go live on YouTube. You can actually go to YouTube Studio, go to your broadcast, and you can actually bring up the live of your broadcast. And it's just going to say, hey, we can't do this. And then it's just going to tell you to change it. And you can't, unfortunately, change it while you're streaming. You'd have to stop the stream, change it, and then put it back on. So, yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to keep to obviously the bit rates that they give you. Let me just double check. Is there anything else? I don't really mess with these ones. The only other thing I would recommend that I normally do sometimes is come here again, make sure priority is high. On here, I've got full color range. I believe it before it's on partial, so change that to full. I don't mess with these, but these are to do with the HDR. If you think that you need to mess with HDR, I would probably recommend doing it with monitor rather than trying to do it this, unless it's something in stream, which then I would probably recommend a different way of doing it, which I'll show you in just a moment. Nothing else I really touch on there. The only other thing I do is I enable network optimizations and enable TCP pacing, and I also make sure that the browser source hardware acceleration is on, so that it's getting acceleration from your CPU or GPU, and obviously that's helping to render out the frames and make sure your quality as good as possible, and you know, as best as you possibly can do. And that's it. That's all I do. That's all I basically set up on here, and that's it. So if this helps you out, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really do appreciate. Now let me just quickly go through one last thing, and that was regarding to the color. If you feel like everything looks a bit grainy or anything, and I'll show you here with webcam because I've done it on webcam. If you go over here and you go to filters, you want to go to color correction, and you can actually change color correction in here, and you can change your saturation and everything and make your color look a little bit better. I also use sharpening as well, so I can sharpen and make the quality look better as well on there. And there was one last thing I wanted to show, is this box here, which is the auto the beta thing here, which I'll just show you what it's called. It's, if I just go up to here and just put in, the best thing I type in to find this is OBS plugin. Or should I say OBS audio plugin. And it's here, it's called Wind Capture. Again, I'll link this in the description so you don't have to search. You just have to go here and go, hey, I found it. Then go to download, and as you can see, it's here in beta. And what this basically does, which I'll show you an example now, is like this, where it says game audio. All you do is click the plus, it says application audio capture beta. You click it, then you can type in whatever you want it to be. I've got game audio and speech chat. Then you just basically click on it, go to the one that you've clicked and open it. And then all you do is you click on the box, and right here, it gives you a window. While this is clicked on, it'll give you a window. You click this and you basically put it under whatever you want it to capture audio for. And that's what it will do. Now, if you're playing games and you play different games each time, so I play Call of Duty, then I swap over to Apex, then you will need to go back to game audio, click in here and turn it to obviously the one, otherwise you'll have no game audio. Something I am terrible at doing, and I tend to forget quite often. And then people come in and like 10 minutes later and go, Kappa, there's no game audio. And I'm like, oh no, I've not changed it again. So I have to then run back and change it, which is very annoying. But yeah, it happens. But make sure you just go in there and obviously do it. If you do it through the settings, it would probably do it, but it'll do it each and every scene that you do, which is the reason why I recommend not to go into settings and do this for like game audio and chat mic. Because what will happen is if I go to my starting soon, you'll see that I'm again still talking, but there's music, and each one I go into, each scene, my mic will be there no matter what, because that is the way that it does it. It just goes from each one. And if I mute here, then it's going to mute in every other scene, which is kind of annoying. You don't want to be doing that. You want your game audio not to be muting in every scene when you're pressing it, because you might want to just mute it at the beginning where it says starting soon. I'll do that in a moment. It wants some more food. It wants more food. What do you want? Come here, let me show people. Look, it wants his spaghetti carbonara. So it's just bringing it to me for the microwave. We'll go put it in now. Anyway, I'm gonna go do this dinner. Hopefully it helped out. If you are quite new, my son is autistic. He's 8 years old. Very beautiful boy, Rio. But he does this. He's quite crazy and mad, and he jumps all over the place. Absolute lunatic. But I love him very, very dearly. He's very beautiful boy. All my 3 boys have variations of autism. So, you know, it is what it is. I won't change him for a world. And I'm sure many other people and a lot of my elites, Salute, and convicts and convicts alike, obviously love him to pieces. So it is what it is. It's tough. Anyway, I'm going to go. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please, please, please take 1 second just to hit that like. I really do appreciate it. If you want to go that step further and want to support me full time as a creator, as myself, then you can join for $1.99. You'll get access to emotes, badges. We'll be doing giveaways in the future. Hopefully do charity work as well. That'd be really cool, as I'd love to do charity for autism and charity also for people with dementia, because unfortunately I do have a stepfather who has got dementia himself, and each and every passing week, unfortunately, it does, as we all know, gets progressively worse. But hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, Mom can keep him safe and sound for now, and when the inevitable happens, that happens. But hopefully until then, you know, we do what we can. If we can find a cure, would be amazing, but maybe not in my lifetime or your lifetime, maybe some years ahead. Anyway, not to leave out the doom and gloom, but hopefully have a great day. Hopefully the settings help out. Big shout and salute to the person recommending this. Thank you, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now.